Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel, and this is round 2 of my talks with John. He's my buddy who has a lot of military and law enforcement experience. And today, in today's video, we're going to be talking about dude stuff, and we're going to be talking about life advice, stuff that we wish we knew earlier as dudes. So John, welcome back, sir.
Thanks, man.
It's a pleasure to have you back, and yeah, let's get into it.
I always love contributing to your channel. I like your viewership, and I wish that your comments section, I hope that your comments section grows into something very grand thumb.
Yes.
Where it's just so coarse
Yeah.
and wild. If you've never seen grand thumb comment section, that's what you should strive to be as a content creator on YouTube, because that's definitely like, you're in niche territory there. And speaking of niche territory, today I'm rocking my Kit Badger t-shirt. Shout out to Ivan at Kit Badger. He's my dude. I've never met him in person, but Ivan, you're my dude, and I like your style.
Sweet.
So those of you, thumbs up if you're familiar with him.
Hell and, yes. Professional human.
He is. He for sure is. He's got a good message. You guys will like him.
Yes.
If
Cool.
you like bro stuff, you'll like Ivan.
We will look him up, that's for sure.
So we brought out some bro stuff today that we wanted to talk about. I always carry a can, like a water jug. This type of variety suits me, not like the pop top. I like the screw cap, because then you can actually get some flow and you're not having to pull it out of there. And you could even run hot liquid in here. I do it all the time, so I've drank coffee out of this quite a bit. But it keeps drinks cold for a long time, and it keeps hot drinks hot. So it does everything I need it to.
And I think you mostly keep whiskey in there, right?
Well, I mean, you could add whiskey to anything. There's a song about that.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so we were talking in person outside of YouTube, if you could imagine that.
Oh yeah, who talks outside of YouTube these
know.
days? Amateurs. You don't have talks outside of YouTube.
You sure don't.
Every talk should be recorded and documented for posterity.
Insurance reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
So the topic that we were talking about was just things that we wish we could give or impart on our younger selves, as younger men or even younger women, if you're a female viewer. Do you have female viewers?
Less than 1%. I run the numbers frequently, and usually most of my audience is in North America, Canada, Europe, some Australia, a little bit in Asia, and actually what's specifically Japan, because I think the Japanese
denim, probably, right?
Demographic, they're into the denim, they're into the brass gear. In fact, this lighter is made in Japan. Yeah, this is a Douglas Field lighter. It's a mini one.
Oh, that is really slick.
Yeah, over-engineered raw brass, made in Japan.
You could put that in a sock and rob a bank with it.
Yeah, you could. But yeah, literally, I used to have a 100% male audience. I think it's far less than 1% female viewerships. This flashlight, actually, it's on. This is a Ray light designed by a Japanese guy named Ray, made of solid copper, and if you notice, it looks like a lightsaber handle.
It's pretty cool.
Hilt. Yes.
It does look cool. I didn't notice it at first, but then you said it, and I said, oh, okay, yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, for sure. This is my favorite flashlight currently.
And this is a vial in the back? Like a tritium vial?
Oh, no, but you can put tritium vials in this portion here.
That's really slick.
Yeah. I need to get some, actually, because yeah, I need some tritium in here.
Because everything should have a tritium vial.
Everything should. Yeah, everything's better with tritium.
They're really cool.
Yes. So, yeah, speaking of Japanese things, we got a couple here. So
Is this a Japanese item, too?
No, this is actually, I got this on Amazon. I don't know who made this. It was like $15, but it's cut from a whole stock raw brass pen, and so if you're going to carry a pen around,
a bolt action pen is the coolest pen.
A bolt action raw brass pen is the way to go.
So. And also, if you had to use dual use, you could strike with it overhand, underhand. It's definitely like a robust item. It's got some heft to it. Or a glass punch. A
glass punch, an impact device. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, those are just some of the things I like to carry around in my pockets when I have a pocket to put stuff in.
Dale and his brass.
Hell yes. I'm all about that brass.
If I had to give my young self advice, my first item would be to grab myself by the ears and say, buy a house. You could renovate yourself out of a market and be upside down in a house. But the longer you live in it, that's going to be the equalizer, and eventually it's going to be at the top of its value. It's an investment that is very tangible, and if the economy were to fall out like it was 1929 all over again,
Yeah.
You have a house, and if you're doing things right, you should seek to pay for it outright and own it outright. Owning property, there's really something to be said about it. And it is the number one investment. And if I had to enumerate things that you should be doing, buying a house would be my first one.
Nice. That sounds like good advice. Definitely good advice. Yeah, my wife and I, we've been in the same house now for probably 11, 12 years. And yeah, at one point we went way under with the housing bubble burst thing in 2008. But now it's doing good. Like, we're still definitely paying on it, but it's turned out to be a very good investment. And even with the housing crisis happening left and right, like you said, time is the equalizer.
Right.
And time healed the
bubble,
gaping wound,
which we might be due for again.
True.
So interest rates are exceptional right now as of late March 2021. They're still exceptional. There has arguably never been a better time interest rate wise to buy a home. It's worth it to use the buying power of someone else's money and take out and pay that interest rate, take out that loan and pay that interest rate. It's exceptional right now. You talk to your grandparents, great grandparents, and ask them what their interest rate was on their home. I guarantee you it wasn't sub 3%.
Right.
It was probably more like 7 to 12%. I remember my great grandparents telling me that they paid like a 17% interest rate.
Oh my God.
So if you can imagine that. I mean, obviously the cost of a house back then was probably like $12,000 or less for like a really great house.
Yeah.
But still, that's a hefty interest rate to have to pay. You compare that to today's interest rates, there's no comparing it.
Right. Yeah, 2.25% right now. I think we just got a letter for. It's
maybe
like,
better if you
dude.
hunt. Hunt. Don't just take the first thing like anything else. Shop around.
Right.
And be smart with your money, because aside from right now where they're giving away some money, our buying power may become limited, and markets and are subject to market value. It ebbs and flows.
That's true.
Uncertainty is the only thing you could be certain of.
Yeah. Well said. Very well said.
Buying a house would be number one, and then my number two. You know what? I'll add a caveat on buying a house. Learn to do things for yourself. Get basic tools, drills, saws, all those things, and do as many things as you can for yourself. Not only so that you own those skills, because that's the only thing that we really own in this world.
Knowledge
is having that education to do things for ourselves and not having to pay somebody else and being dependent on their schedule. You just roll up your sleeves and get it done, and it's probably going to look better than if you had to pay somebody, and you'll be more pleased with it, and you'll get it done quicker probably. And the more repetition, more reps you have under your belt, the better you're going to be.
That's true, and I'll echo that, because a lot of people ask me how I afford so many luxury items, and I'll tell you one corner I cut is I do all my housework myself. If the roof needs fixed, if the fence needs fixed, if the floors need fixed, if anything in the house needs fixed or repaired, I do it myself, and that cuts out thousands of dollars of middleman doing it. And here's the other thing about talking about the tools that you're talking about. The tools pay for themselves. So,
one job. First job, they pay for themselves in most cases.
Exactly.
Unless it's a tile saw or something, but I would even argue that that's paid for itself.
Exactly. So like if you're looking at that $150 price tag at Lowe's or at Home Depot and you think that's expensive, I look at those things as free. Like, I don't even look at the cost. I buy it and I use it on my house, and I know that it's already paid for itself.
If anything, it's gone up in value at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're if you had to sell it, you could probably. There's a reason that tools are one of the top 3 things that are stolen. You look at like metrics from police reports. It goes jewelry, tools, firearms, and then other items like electronics.
Interesting.
So the tools are something that, even though it has a serial number, it has intrinsic value, and it can be pawned or sold off, and somebody's going to want it because tools are expensive for a reason.
True. Very good point.
Good tools are worth having.
Yes, absolutely. And like, being into luxury myself, I used to think, doing manual labor. I used to think doing manual labor was beneath me, but no. First off, like, not only are you saving money, but you're getting a workout too. So you're using your mind and your body for something productive, and to me, that is worth doing it in and of itself. Right. So I don't think any job in the house is beneath me. Like, I'm totally willing to do any job, plumbing, what, I don't care. Like, because
if you can
teaching
deconstruct
yourself.
it, if you can take it apart, that'll give you your indications and clues on how to put it back together and recreate it.
Yeah.
And most things are relatively easy. It's just a matter of taking your time and doing it the correct way.
True. Exactly.
Most of the time is just the initiative. The initiative alone is probably 80% of the job.
Right, that's true. Initiative. And then once you do it, then you always know how to do it. You always remember how to do it. And then so you get that education as well. So you get a deeper understanding of what goes into things. So on many, many levels, you benefit by doing stuff yourself instead of paying somebody else to do it. So yes, agreed 100% on that one.
I didn't list this out in my outline, but here in thinking about it and kind of knowing Dale, he has, comparison to me, advanced degrees. I just have 2 associate's degrees. And my favorite part about my associate's degrees is that no one's ever once asked me to see them. And I've heard that over and over from friends that have advanced degrees.
Yes.
So
that's the truth.
I want you to weigh in on education from somebody who can speak from a position, because I don't regard myself as a super educated person. I've never gotten a job because of my education.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. I think my experiences with having higher degrees is actually the same as yours. A, nobody's ever asked to see my transcripts, and B, they haven't gotten me really anywhere. I haven't gotten hired anywhere for having a degree. And yeah, honestly, I thank the military so much for funding it, because without it, if I had paid for these higher education degrees myself, I'd feel like I got ripped off. Right, honestly, frankly, I don't think it's worth it.
I would second that assessment. We're kind of an other, I think, being veterans, but I don't know that I've gotten a job necessarily because I was a veteran, but I got my jobs because of experience, which outweighed sort of education and time on jobs, getting experience that was unique. And I don't know that we ever got jobs because of degrees, or necessarily it was just a collective thing. And that would be my advice to a person seeking an advanced degree. Go to school for a job, an actual job that exists, and don't go to school because you hope to get a job.
Right.
That would be my final answer on that, because I remember thinking as a young guy and being brainwashed by teachers who all probably had advanced degrees, that if you don't get a degree, you're not going to be marketable and you'll end up a hobo on the street. But the funny part of that is all the people that I know that went to trade schools or went into skilled transitions, machining, welding, fabrication, those guys are the most wealthy dudes that I know.
Yes, me too. Absolutely. I met a guy, and he was telling me about how he'd been all over the world. He traveled the world. He makes basically $300,000 a year. And he repairs air conditioning units. Like, this dude has so much money, so many experiences. So yes, when it comes to education, I would say go learn a trade like that. Plumbing, electrician, those are incredibly invaluable skills. Going to learn study philosophy or film,
most of the time you can learn jobs like that in a non-traditional sort of way by just showing initiative.
Yeah.
I have friends that went to like Columbia for film, and they aren't working in those positions.
Right.
One of them's actually a police officer, of all things. So
exactly.
But he does happen to work for a major metropolitan police department on their public affairs group. So he is using his degree.
Yeah.
But is he being paid commensurate with the amount of debt that he assumed in achieving that degree?
Right.
Or could he have done that same thing at a community college, gleaning the same because it's all the same software.
Yeah.
Everything's software based. The hardware is the other half of that equation.
Right.
Do you know how to use that equipment? Do you know how to achieve those same effects? Can you recreate it over and over again in a package that's satisfactory or marketable?
That's true.
I mean, you didn't go to school for television or film, but
no.
Here you are.
Yeah, that's true.
You've seen relative success.
Yeah, making videos and talking about things that I'm interested in, and frankly, just here's my advice to people: that if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel, just do it. Just get started. Make mistakes. Do it badly at first. Just do it, but do it. You know what I mean? Interact with your audience. Learn, and along the way, you'll learn the editing skills. You'll learn the photography skills. You'll learn everything that you need to know, and just do it. And frankly, YouTube is a better university than any public university or any private university for that matter, you can go get one hell of an education in history, medicine, electricity, any subject you want, astrology, astronomy, whatever, physics, on YouTube. And it's the same information they're going to teach you in a university.
Anything, maybe it's distilled in some ways. And if you go and you actually are going to school for it, you found a reasonable way. Like reality proves your point.
Yeah.
In that you can, if you're seeking out education, you don't have to overpay for it. You can go to school online.
Yeah.
I mean, all of our kids are going to school remotely.
Right.
A lot of people work entirely remotely. So reality kind of proves that maybe the antiquated, I'm going to go and attend this class in person, is on its way out the door, and that people's time is more valuable than they thought.
It is, absolutely. And you know what, like maybe back in the 1800s, 1700s, 1900s, it was worth something to like be an academic. But now we're edging towards a point now where everybody in society is an academic. Like, what good is that to society if everybody is a scholar? You know what I mean?
That's true.
We hold these doctors and lawyers in such high regard, but really in our culture today, we place an artificial value on these advanced degrees, and really
there's value
like,
in it. But like, how much value are you willing to go into debt for decades? Because I've heard people talk, both friends and relatives and just strangers. I've heard them talk about student loans, and they almost have it like, oh, I've got $300,000 in student loans. Well, that's not something to brag about.
No.
Like,
no.
You have $300,000 in debt? What tangible thing do you have to show for it? Because your job, I make more than you.
Right.
If I'm doing better than you, then what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
What's the damn point? That's why I say, I encourage, like I said, young guys, young gals, get out there, join the military, because you're going to get paid. They're going to educate you. You're going to get educational benefits to study whatever you want on the side, and in addition to that, you're gonna learn a skill, and you're gonna have a work experience. That's the thing. Like,
that's true.
When I was graduating high school, all my classmates were like, "Oh, you're going to waste your life in the Air Force," and at the time, I kind of believed them, but looking back, it's like, no, I didn't lose any time. In fact, I gained, like, those 4 years were some of the most productive 4 years you could have spent, because I came out of it with a bachelor's degree, which so did they. Most of them didn't, but some of them did. If they
more importantly, no student loan.
Right, no loans. Here's the other thing. I had 4 years of work experience coming out of the military.
You're instantly marketable.
Instantly marketable. Whereas those kids, they spent 4 years as a student.
You got to convince somebody to take a chance on you.
Yeah, exactly. So if you go to a traditional university, you're out the tuition money, you're out those 4 years of professional experience in most cases.
The time.
Yeah, the time. For me at that point, going to get a master's degree, I still had the GI Bill to pay for it. So it's like, those kids that graduate with a bachelor's, they still have to fork out if they want to go into higher education. I hate to sound like a military recruiter.
Well, any job, that's why most people serve. You ask 10 people, hey, why'd you serve? Well, I wanted the education benefits.
Right,
and it's a big recruitment tool.
It is.
That's why a lot of people serve. So it's not wrong.
Right.
I don't necessarily push people to go to the military because it's not for everyone. It is kind of a crappy life.
Yeah.
Lonely at times. There's all the negative things that come with military service. I don't push people into the military.
Yeah.
But I'm not against it either. Like I'll tell my son that if you're going to do it, maybe think about the Guard or Reserve, because you get the same education benefits. And then if you still want to go in and serve more, you need to prove your mettle, because there's something to be said about that, especially for men. Proving to yourself, it kind of shows you what your own self-worth is, what you're capable of achieving, especially if you do choose a profession of arms or something that's like in the special ops career field. I know that I regret not doing something harder in the military that was probably more special ops based, something that reward big thinking versus any more so not professions of arms, because I wasn't some stud in the military. I was just some regular dude. I was kind of in a support role, an enabler role.
You know, I was a kid. Looking back, I was a freaking high school student in the military. You know, I joined when I was 18. So I wasn't very mature. In fact, I wasn't very mature even after I separated.
I don't think anyone is, though.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, I'm still not very mature.
Yeah,
I mean, he can tell you that.
We have to adult, and I look at getting up in the morning is really difficult, and every morning I have to talk myself into not calling out of work.
Yeah.
Because it's not for adults.
Right, exactly.
So adulting's hard.
Adulting
is bills.
Yeah.
Kids need taken care of. It
Yes.
sucks. So moving on to my next item, investments.
Yeah.
I'm invested heavily in the market. My advice to people regarding investing is that do it early and do it often. Be smart with your money. Don't go wasting your money on things that aren't going to have any value in your life. Think about your future. And my advice is to, if your employer matches any contribution that you make to an investment account, max that out. So in our case, our employer matches 5% of what we contribute. So you're raising your hand and electing to take a 5% raise in that instance.
Yes.
And that's probably the only instance where that's going to happen for you. So not doing that is pretty dumb.
Yeah.
You have to go to work. You have to have a job unless you've built a business, in which case, you're reaping all the rewards of your work and it won't matter to you. But if you work for somebody, the matching game with the internal investments is a good deal, and a lot of employers do that. So max out those contributions, get what they match you, and then I would say the next line item, a priority of work for investing, would be a Roth IRA, because max that out monthly. And then if you still are balling, or you get a promotion, or you get a new job and you have more disposable income, I would say, depending on your threshold level of risk, whatever's that acceptable amount of risk for you, go into mutual funds. And some people might look at that as backwards and say you should own regular individual stocks outright, but I think that requires a greater deal of either know through mentorship or experience, or paying a person to do it for you. And I didn't have that know-how at 18, so I would say the mutual funds are the next best thing, because you diffuse that money and that risk over a basket of stocks. So if 7 out of 10 are doing really well, you're going to be in the black.
True.
So
yeah.
I don't think it's backward to look at that way.
Yeah.
You have to gain knowledge in order to invest in stocks and be successful at that. Individual stocks, I mean to say.
Yeah, that's true. And I can echo so much of that. Like, I'm not as hardcore an investor as you are, but I can tell you that I waited till I was about 25 to start a traditional IRA, a traditional retirement savings account. Big mistake. I should have started when I was 18, period. You start, because growing up, I didn't have the financial education.
Yeah, my parents didn't teach me that.
Yeah, mine neither.
School won't teach you that either. I don't know that anyone ever mentioned anything in any sort of college setting. I definitely didn't get it in any collegiate setting.
Right, definitely not. And by the time the military pitched it to me, I thought it was a pitch. I thought it was a gimmick. So I passed it, the TSP savings, the thrift savings plan. Yeah, no, you need to start early and start heavy, and 10 to 15% of your salary should be going to a traditional, I would say, period. Like, you're not going to miss that $100 coming out of your paycheck pre-tax. The impact on the dollar amount that you get is not that as big as the actual amount going in. So you might be less $100, but $150 is going into your TSP. The sooner you start, the sooner those thousands will start to accumulate. I agree. Fully, start investing immediately. And it doesn't have to be you don't have to be a stock trader. just sign up for a retirement plan, a base,
Most banks do it. My mutual funds are through Putnam Investments. It's completely hands off. I call my broker and I tell him, look, I want to take more risk. With more risk comes greater reward.
Yes.
So greater profits. And I want to caveat all this with, this isn't pay the bills and put the diapers on the baby money. Yeah. This is disposable income. This is money that I would blow on, you name it. But I choose to invest it because I don't want to work for the rest of my life. I want to be able to live that mountain man dream and not have to worry about paying for things, how I'm going to pay for things.
Yeah, get a farm, get some pigs, get some
whatever
cows.
Your dream is, chase that. Use it to fund that.
Yes, exactly.
Early and often.
Yes, early and often. Yeah, the sooner you start saving, the better. And don't also make the mistake I did, which was, enough time has gone by. I thought when I was 24, I already wasted too much time to start saving. I might as well not even start now. Another huge mistake. No. start now. The time is right frickin' now, and I'm not kidding. Like, start saving right now if you're not.
as people say in the police business, the best time to go is now.
Yes.
The second best time to go is now.
Yes.
So anytime you're going to do something dynamic, that's kind of an ism.
Right.
And this is your expertise.
Mm-hmm.
This is the next item on my list is looking sharp and the importance of that.
Yeah.
If you're a young person, an 18-year-old guy, 17, 18-year-old guy, I didn't do bad with girls at an early age, but I didn't do super well either. And I was an experienced hunter.
Oh, okay.
But I think that had I dressed sharper and acted the part more, maybe I would have attracted more bees.
Yeah, absolutely. It's for that. It's also for yourself. That's one thing that I've come to realize is a lot of people think that dressing good is for the outside world, but it's not. Ultimately, it's not. Ultimately it's for you and feeling good for you, and having a kit that you can put on every day that you're comfortable with, that you feel good in, that you can do your day-to-day tasks in, and then when you find that spot, then everything else sort of falls into place.
What kind of person do you want to be?
Yeah.
It sets a table without saying a word.
Right.
It's a reflection of you without saying anything.
Yes.
They don't know your character. They don't know who you are, but if you look like hell, people are going to judge you. It's just a human condition. It's part of the human condition.
That's true, and believe me, most people do neglect their appearance in one way or another. You know, most guys especially, like, they're like, no, I'm not going to put any thought into this. And it's like, well, you put thought into your house, and you put thought into your car, and you put thought into your other stuff, your pool in the backyard, whatever.
Align your priorities.
Yeah, exactly. But what is it? I've always had a hard time with that idea. Like, I'm gonna pay attention to everything but my clothes. You know, like, my dad's that same way. My dad shops at Big Lots. Literally, he buys the defect box from Big Lots for like $3, and it's filled with like shirts that are defective.
Clothing is not
China.
a uniform.
Yeah, exactly.
Military guys fall into that, and if you're watching this, you're a military guy. You know what I'm talking about, because you're probably still wearing boots and like your Corafram shoes and other really lame shit that is military. That other military guys see you. We see you. We see you, bro.
We do. Or it's like once you come out of basic training, what is it? The civilian
military guy uniform
for military. Right? Yeah, it was the brown undershirt from the BDUs, and then they had on jeans, and then they had on their running shoes from basic training. Their running sneakers.
And they're all stained with like the orange track, whatever they. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure every branch of the service has something like that.
And then they have the bald head, and it's like, oh man, like
you guys are all cut from the same cloth.
Yep, exactly. It's like, you're not fooling anybody, dude. Like, it is clear as day that you are not a civilian for dressing in your civilian attire.
That's about the only thing you get to be an individual in is your choice in dress. So like, I'm not saying go over the top, but spend some time on the important things. So like owning a suit. Mm-hmm. I don't own a lot of suits, and I don't own a lot of fancy things, but I have 2 suits. I have a black one and I have a gray one. And I would say if you're feeling real fancy, maybe get a blue one or something. Yes. I don't know if that's in style, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Blue style? Because I know that's style comes and goes.
It does.
And definitely get it tailored. Mm-hmm. And if you put on 20 pounds every winter, account for that. Yeah. Get it cut where the pants are long. And I know when I get a pair of pants cut, I literally will do a squat with the pants on. And if the pants come up higher and I can see my sock, I don't like that.
Okay, right.
I don't know how you feel about that, if that's a fashion no. I hate when pants ride up. And
that is hit and miss with me. I actually cuff my pants now.
Right. Which showing off your boots or your shoes. Yeah. There's something to be said about that.
Yeah, I like to show my boots.
But that's a style thing.
Yeah, it is a style thing,
You're not purposely a doofus.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. And sometimes I do wear decorative, every time I wear decorative socks. And so if I sit down, my pant leg does ride up about 2 inches above my boot, and you can see my socks, and they're typically like a Japanese decorative type sock. Today it's just a marled.
Yeah, it's a style thing. I get that.
Yeah.
If it's a style thing and it's totally like, oh, I see what he's doing there.
Yeah.
But when it's not intentional,
right,
it's also very, that's apparent. This guy's a turd.
This guy doesn't give a shit.
Right.
Exactly.
And so looking sharp and acting sharp will ultimately probably lead you to being sharp.
Yes.
If you're doing the right things in life. And
agreed.
And I think that if you're trying to achieve greatness, you may have to dress the part. It's a uniform. people have an expectation of you
Mm-hmm.
when you do, whether you're a cop or you're a lawyer. They expect you to look a certain way, and when you don't, it's going to call you. They're gonna call you out on that. And you may become under scrutiny for it, and people will think less of you because they're judgmental.
Yeah, that's true. And I think a lot of people, they make the mistake of, I think there's a certain stereotype that's developed in our culture in recent years that, oh, this person is so good at their job that they literally don't care about anything else but doing that one task.
You better be really damn good at it.
Yeah, exactly. But even then, like, even to that person who's like, I don't know, the best, excels the best at, like, say, a chemical engineer or something, it doesn't matter. Like, you still have to present yourself well. Like, I don't think anybody's exempt from this.
Everybody's got a boss.
Yeah, everybody has a boss, and even then, like, your boss probably doesn't care, but even then, like, it's
Even if
not.
he didn't,
Yeah,
other people are going to judge you.
other people, regardless, because it's like when you're in a boat riding through the ocean. It's like the boat is doing its thing, and behind it leaves a wake, and the wake is like what your clothes leave behind you in terms of your reputation. So maybe not today somebody sees your outfit and is impressed, and it's like a, it's not so transactional. Your wardrobe and the way you present yourself leaves ripples over time. People remember those ripples. Those ripples resound.
They might not
in
remember
people's-
what you say, but if you look sharp, they're going to remember that.
Right, exactly.
It's a classic cop thing too. That's my experience, so I could tie it back to that. If a cop is a bag of donuts
Mm-hmm.
and they look like hell, some goon is going to look at him and say, "I kick this guy's ass.
Yeah.
I can outrun this guy."
Exactly.
But if you show up and you're fit,
Yeah.
and you look the part, and you're pressed and polished, and you look sharp, they might think twice. I mean, not always, but they might say, "Nah, this guy's got his poop in a group. He's probably
True.
gonna put his foot in my ass if I act up."
Yeah, exactly.
Something to be said about it.
Right. And it goes deeper than just how you present, but it's also in the way that you act, like you're saying, and how you interact with people. But yeah, that these things leave impressions in people's minds, and it might not benefit you today or even 5 years from now, but maybe one day it will. In some way, shape, or form, and you just always want to be on your A game, I guess. And so that's why everything you do should be intentional, should be with intentionality, should be with
Put some thought into your life.
Exactly.
Even if you couldn't foresee something or something isn't going right, you did the things that you had control over. People are more forgiving to people who are sharp. If you're sharper and you look better, and you're always on your A game and you put thought into things and you do good work, people are going to say, "This is a person that I'm going to come to. They're my go-to person. I'm going to have Dale do the presentation because he looks the sharpest." Everybody in the room might be sharp, but if you look the sharpest, maybe you'll get that promotion.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I mean to say.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll receive some preference based on that.
Right. And whether it's conscious or subconscious, like I look at the wardrobe as like the wizardry behind the scenes sort of a thing. The like the Wizard of Oz, like
It's an
he's
accessory
behind
to life.
Yeah, exactly. He's behind the curtains. Well, your wardrobe is very much in front of the curtains, but it's also doing wizardry things for your reputation and for the way
Opposite
people
sex,
the way people perceive you. So it's the wizard in front of the curtains that's working its magic at all times.
I don't think I realized that until I was probably about like 16. I realized
okay.
that the people who had the most girls or whatever it is that you're worried about when you're 16, 17, superficial things, the people who were doing the best dressed sharp and acted sharp, and they were doing well in school. It was definitely a role. Everybody was playing a role. And that's not to say that you shouldn't act in your own, have your own
way.
style.
Yeah,
Have
do it
your
your
own
own
style.
way.
Yeah, do it your own way for sure. Don't do what everybody else is doing, and that's classically cool. Doing things your own way.
Yeah.
In every sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. One of the biggest mistakes I used to make, I remember, and I've made this mistake up until probably about 5-10 years ago, was I used to look to my peers for approval, like, oh, is this good? Am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? And constantly like measuring myself against people. When I finally stopped and just said, no, I'm gonna use all the knowledge I've acquired till now and sort of carve my own path. That's when I think things started to click more in terms of how I was received. Because if you're looking for constant approval, you're demonstrating that you're not so much a leader, you're a follower of other people's opinions. But if you can forge your own path, that's the sexy thing to do.
That's interesting that you say that, and immediately where my mind went, which is actually here on my list, is journaling. I wish
yes.
that I had journaled or started journaling. That's actually one of my things for this year, I have 2 things that I want to start doing more of, because I listen to a ton of podcasts, like a lot of people. Everybody's doing that.
Yeah.
And I think it was Matthew McConaughey. He just had a book come out, and there was all the buffoonery with the weather down in Texas, the winter storm that knocked everybody out, and he did a lot of like charity type work. And he has that book coming out, so he's kind of been in the limelight before that happened. And I remember him saying that he always faithfully carried and journaled. And I've heard other really successful people say that too.
Cool.
And there's something to be, it's a snapshot in time. You may not remember anything from that period, but if you open a journal and you go back to the entry from 10 years ago, what were you doing then? There's going to be some pattern recognition for you.
True.
Maybe you're in a rut in your life and you read that, well, my old self, I used to do this, and I saw a lot of success in that. And it might just remind you of who you were, where you came from, and where you want to go, and reorient you. So I definitely want to start doing that, and more reading. I used to be a voracious reader.
Oh, cool.
And I definitely want to do more of that this coming year. That's sort of one of the goals I set for myself that's very, very attainable. So I've started doing that. Right now I'm reading Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, what the fuck, by Lynn Black Jr., who is a MACV-SOG Vietnam veteran. And there's a whole bunch of guys that come in that same vein, and it's really interesting stuff if you're really into history or war history or Vietnam. Those guys are a lot of modern people. Basically everyone stood on their shoulders to get where we are today in like a U.S. Special Operations capability. They started the show.
Cool.
And everybody is just sort of rewarming the things that they were already doing in the 1960s.
Oh, wow, really?
So it's crazy to look at from the things that they chose as equipment to tactics to it's nothing is new under the sun.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned reading. I actually don't know how to read.
Spot run, spot run.
Let's see, I'm 35 right now. Is it too late to learn?
It's never too late, friend.
What's the snake letter look like?
One thing that I'm constantly saying in my life is, man, I just wish I had a guy that was like my dad's age that could be like, hey, dummy, do this, not that.
Yeah.
And buy this, not this.
Right.
And this is why. This is the why behind everything. Invest in this. Make yours like mine.
Yes.
And let's succeed together.
Right.
Mentorship. And if you know things, don't sit on them. That's one thing that I have written on the very bottom of my notes is mentorship. And my final thing that I would say is teach your kids and your bros. That's part of being a good friend, a good father. Teach other people, maybe not in such like an unsolicited way, but if you're seeking out this knowledge and watching this, you're interested in this content. Don't sit on knowledge. If you know you're good at something and you've got that item in your life checked or double checked, help others make theirs like yours. And definitely teach your kids, because your kids don't know. They don't know.
True.
My parents didn't teach me about investing.
Right.
They didn't teach me about dressing sharp.
Yeah.
They would just, your parents are just like, you look like hell. You always look sharp.
Oh, thank you, sir.
And there's something, and it's just a way of life for you. You know, you show them the things that you think they need to know, but they're probably going to listen to you about those things that they need if you're teaching them cool stuff too.
And I try to have my stepson dress sharp as well. And frankly, he's not into it right now, but I think maybe later on in life, he'll be happy that I imparted on him some wisdom when it comes to that.
There's no reward for it at their age.
Right, there
isn't.
isn't.
What? How old is he?
Oh yeah, he's 13 now, so it's
so it's just gonna start coming to be important.
Yeah, that's true. And depending on your social clique, it may never be an important thing. And in fact, he's following more along the crowd of guys that want to wear like basketball jerseys and gear all the time. Yeah, the athletic gear all the time. And that's cool. I went through a phase like that too because all my friends were doing it. But in retrospect, I never enjoyed that very much. You know, like there's things that I legitimately enjoy, like boots, like denim, that I try to teach him. And like I said, he might not resonate with it now, but later in life, he's gonna be thankful for that.
All the things that I hated, that like when I was a kid, like from adults, I've come to say like, oh yeah, I'm glad they did that. I wasted a lot of time as a kid. I'm sure everyone did.
Oh yeah.
But that's one of my biggest regrets in life is just the amount of time I wasted on things that just they do not matter at all.
Didn't materialize into anything, right?
And that's most of today. That's most of the things in our lives.
Yeah, that's true.
And
that's definitely true.
My final point, things in your life and being a more discerning person.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're a discerning person, it's based on experiences and measuring things.
Mm-hmm.
And if something has real value in your life, you'll be able to test that. You'll find a way to test that. Like a scientist can repeat results and based on data points.
Yeah.
And small data points aggregate into big data points. So whether it's investing or relationships, be a discerning person. And that helps you take better risks in people or investments or anything else that you want to do in this life.
Right.
And it's all work.
It's all work all the time.
Right. Yeah. And the final half of that is, if it's not a benefit to you, financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually,
Mm-hmm.
Cut it out of your life.
Yes.
Clean your house. Put your house in order.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have summarized that in worrying about, in the phrase, well, I wish people would just worry about themselves.
Yeah.
And that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But what that really means is putting your own home in order, putting
Yes.
yourself in order. And then in turn, you become more desirable. So if you're a young guy and girl and you're watching this, and maybe you're going through a bad breakup or something,
Mm-hmm.
the best way to make yourself more desirable to who you think that you want to be with is to stop trying to seek out those people
Mm-hmm.
and make yourself a desirable person. Focus on yourself.
Yes.
Because people really love passionate people.
That's true.
That's probably the only reason people come to your channel, because I listen
Mhm.
to you talk about the things that you're interested in,
Yeah.
and you're passionate.
Right.
So you've
right.
become like a de facto expert.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean?
Right, in a lot of ways, because the passion drives the content in a lot of ways. So you're right, and I can't agree more. And this is something that I heard recently. When it comes to severing ties with like toxic people and things like that, it's okay to leave when love is no longer served at the table. I heard recently, and I thought, wow, that is deep.
Yeah, that is
like,
good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like fortune cookie good.
Yeah, very, very, very good. Like, it's like if this individual that's in your life is not reciprocating or giving you love back, or like you said, benefiting you in a spiritual way, or in an emotional way, or in a friendship way, whatever the relationship is, if love is not served at the table, then you have to leave the table. That's
Right.
just
You should be recreating yourself over and over again in life.
yeah.
If you're the
exactly.
same person you were 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not a concern.
Right.
But you should probably be going on to bigger and better things. You should be different, thinking different,
Mhm.
investing different,
Mhm.
and in your time and what you do in your personal life matters.
Yes.
So like things that are a time suck, those are gone from
Yeah.
my life. I don't want to play video games because there's nothing to show for it at the end of the day. And
True.
there's something that you really love doing,
Mm-hmm.
it should probably pay you back in some way.
Yeah, definitely.
With working out, you have a physical, you see it, your physique, you see
There's
it in your health, there's something to be gleaned there.
Yeah, your
from the
brain
effort.
benefits. You benefit cognitively. You obviously benefit physically, epigenetically,
Every way.
every single
It
way
bleeds through in
possible.
your life.
Yes, even spiritually. Even like fasting and exercise benefits you
clean,
spiritually. Yeah, eating
all of
clean.
those things. There's a reason why fasting is literally a thing in every faith.
Yeah,
Every single faith.
exactly. Yeah,
And people think, oh, I'm not going to eat, I'm going to die. Well, I could probably not eat for 6 months and be just fine.
yeah, exactly. What is it? What do they teach you? 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. Are you kidding me? 3 weeks without food? But yeah, we could live 3 weeks without food.
Yeah, very easily. I know I could.
Yeah.
I'm carrying probably 20 pounds, 30 pounds that I could easily get rid of.
Oh yeah. I could go.
3
a week.
weeks would probably get me halfway there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nah, maybe a week. Maybe you'd be good in a week. To your other point about like if you're a young person and say your significant other, your girlfriend or whatever breaks up with you, a mistake I did was pining for that person to come back.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's everyone.
Yeah,
It's hard to make that sever.
Exactly. It's hard to sever that tie, but you know what? Your best chance, and this is what I found, your best chance, if you ever really want to hope to get that person back, is drop them.
Right.
Completely.
Block them out of your phone, delete everything, every trace of them in your life.
Exactly. And turn your intentions onto yourself. Turn that angst into exercise, into positive efforts,
do something else. If what you're doing isn't working, do something else.
Right. Stop calling them every night, asking if they're ready to come back to you. No. Because I've made that mistake time and time again, but never again. Because I learned that, as much as it hurts, you drop that person and you redirect that angst into something productive for yourself.
Right.
Because doing so, you'll either get somebody better, or that person will come back to you eventually after enough time, because they're more attracted to you if you're not talking to them. Trust me.
That's true. or you instantly grow out of them.
Yeah.
And you say, yeah, that wasn't for me. Hard pass on that. So you wouldn't go back if given the choice.
Exactly.
The juice wasn't worth the squeeze.
Right.
And
Exactly.
That's how every relationship is. So when somebody leaves you or cheats on you, what you actually should be doing is saying, well, that person saved me a lot of time.
Yes.
And your time is the most valuable thing you have here.
Yes. Amen. That is.
And there's nobody that can afford your time.
Right. Exactly.
You have to want to be able and accept each other's time, whether in a relationship. And the most fulfilling things are going to be worth your time. And you'll know.
That's true. That's definitely true. And like I said, this is tough advice to follow, even for adults, even for mature adults to follow. Like, this is advice that I wish, this is something that I wish I knew when I was 18.
You wouldn't have listened to you, though. I think it's just experience. You have to experience it.
Yeah, literally.
It's part of a human condition, probably.
Yes, absolutely. But I will say, after I learned it, I never forgot it, and I, absolutely enforce it. Because I believe relationships should be reciprocal. I don't think there should be a situation where it's like, oh, this person loves the other person more, so this person, the person who loves the other person least has the most power.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. That is a dichotomy.
Yeah,
right?
I think you're both sort of selling each other short if that's the situation.
That's probably a sign that your relationship isn't the one for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like everyone wants to be with that person and that God made for them, or whatever notion that there is about relationships, the unobtainium relationship, like, oh, I just wish I had this perfect person.
Yes.
Maybe what we should be doing as people is trying to make ourselves the best version of ourselves. And I know that a lot of people get depressed. And depression is a huge topic in our society as veterans, and just not in the military, outside the military. Depression is a huge issue. Yeah, and
that's true.
I think that one of the biggest things I heard about depression, and I forget who it was, but they said that anytime you're feeling depressed, you're not serving anyone else. And if you go and you serve other people, you don't have time to think about your problems. But you should also be seeking to put your house in order. And then, you put yourself in order and you serve others, you probably won't feel so bad on the world, no matter what's going on in your life. Like, everyone's got, no matter how bad you feel or your negative your perceptions are, there's something, you could make a pro and con list, and I'm sure that you could dominate the pro column on things that are going right in your life.
Absolutely, and that's so true, and that's honestly why I do this channel, especially in light of the whole pandemic thing. Is it gives me something to do. It gives me an audience and a social network.
They always keep saying connect with others, connect with other people.
Right, and that is the drive, is the connection. I don't, like I said, I don't monetize my content, and I'm not doing it to get famous. I'm simply doing it because I don't see the same content being produced elsewhere, and so why not do it yourself? And that's the best thing we could all do is if you see something you want to change in the world, it sounds corny, but freaking do it. You can do that. You can, believe me. You have the free time, make it happen. And this has been just the best. These past few years have been the best of my life, honestly. Getting to talk to people, have profound conversations like this one, get to the bottom of this existence and make it better for other people. It doesn't get any better than that. So
that's a great stopping point. I feel like that's a solid. We basically did a podcast out here at a picnic table.
Yeah, exactly. Hell yes,
hopefully
that's what it's all about.
Hopefully it's not too windy and it sounds good, and I think you'll hopefully get some positive feedback from it.
Yeah, again, John, thanks again for coming on, my man.
Cool, man.
We're gonna have to do this again. I'm gonna want to see your gun collection eventually. So maybe we'll have to do that.
It's a constant.
Yes.
Dude
stuff.
stuff.
Bro videos.
Bro it up.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, again, thanks a lot for watching, and again, special thanks to John for taking the time to spread the word of the Brofessor.
Ooh. The path wrath of the professor.
Yes, ask your brofessor.